Good afternoon, everyone.
Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon, sir.
Okay, let us start. Today, we shall divide our session into two parts. So, in the first session, we shall learn chapter 3, and in the next session, we shall discuss about the coming PWT 1. Okay, so now I shall share my screen. So in the last lesson, we discussed about causes of water scarcity in India, then the need for water conservation and management in India. And today we shall discuss about how how can we conserve and manage water. We have known that India has been facing shortage of water, scarcity of water in different places. Okay, so now let us discuss, let us learn how can we conserve and manage water. Conservation, wise use, okay, wise use of water in this case. And when we talk about conservation and management of water, so multi-purpose river projects has come up, okay, as a measure to conserve water resources. So now let us read what are multi-purpose river projects, also known as dams. Okay, then what are the usefulness? That is, what are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? And what are the controversies of multi-purpose river projects or large dams? Okay, so at the beginning we find the same question, see how do we conserve and manage water. So in India, okay, water conservation has been practicing since the time immemorial. And just below this paragraph, you'll find some examples how ancient Indian people, ancient Indian kingdom conserve and manage water. It is also mentioned here archaeological and historical records show that from ancient times we have been constructing sophisticated hydraulic structures like dams, built of stone, rubble, reservoirs or lakes, embankments, and canals for irrigation. So various hydraulic structures have been constructed by the ancient Indian people to conserve and manage water. And not surprisingly, we have continued this tradition in modern India by building dams in most of river basins. So in this way, India has been conserving and managing water resources. Okay, before we continue, so let us read how ancient Indian people conserve and manage water as given in the box. Hydraulic structures in ancient India. So in the first century BC, Sringaberapura near Allahabad had sophisticated water harvesting system by channeling the flood water of river Ganga. Okay, in the first century BC, a place, okay, Sringaberapura near Allahabad, that is in UP, had sophisticated water harvesting system channeling the flood water of river Ganga. Actually, when the Ganga is in flood, okay, say for example, this is the Ganga river, and when the Ganga is in flood, so the flood water is diverted, it is channelized, okay, and it is stored somewhere. It is stored somewhere in a reservoir. So that was done Then during the time of Chandragupta Maurya, dams, lakes, and irrigation systems were extensively built to store and conserve water. Okay. Then evidences of sophisticated irrigation works have also been found in Kalinga in Orissa, Nagarjuna Konda in Andhra Pradesh, Banur in Karnataka, Kolhapur in Maharashtra. Okay, so evidences of sophisticated irrigation works have also been found in these places like Kalinga, Nagarjuna Konda, Banur, Kolhapur. Then another example is that in 11th century, Bhopal Lake, one of the largest artificial lakes of its time, was built. 11th century AD, Bhopal Lake was built to store and conserve water. Okay, so it was one of the largest artificial lake of their time. Again, in the 14th century AD, the tank in House Khas in Delhi was constructed by Iltutmish for supplying water to Sri Fort area. Okay, you know, in the ancient time or during the medieval and the modern time, actually mainly in the ancient and more medieval time, forts were very important for the defense of the country. Okay, and during the time of this Delhi Sultanate, Iltutmish, okay, to supply water to Sri Fort, the tank of House Khas was dug out, okay, was constructed in the 14th century. So these are the different examples, okay, telling that the ancient Indian people, then medieval Indian people have been conserving and managing water by constructing different hydraulic structures. So any question, boys and girls? So if you don't have questions, then see, let us learn what are dams. Okay, before we go to the text, let us learn what are dams. So definition is given here in the box. A dam is a barrier across flowing water that obstructs, directs, or retards the flow, often creating a reservoir, lake, or impoundment. Okay, see here, a dam is simply a barrier. So for, if we draw a cross section, say for example, this is the river bed, okay, slope of the mountain, or this is a river bed. This is cross section, okay, this is cross section. And say river water is flowing down here. And if we construct a barrier here, it may be made of stones, mud, or anything, or iron. Okay, so because of this barrier, so a reservoir is formed here. We find a reservoir. Actually, this barrier, this wall, okay, this barrier is known as a dam. But now we merely refer to this reservoir. Nowadays, we mainly refer to this reservoir as the dam, as given here in our book. Okay, see here, dam refer to the reservoir rather than the structure. But in see, the actual definition of dam is that dam is the barrier across flowing water that obstructs, directs, retards the flow, and often creating reservoir, lack, or impoundment. So this definition is given by the engineers. However, for the common people, dam refers to the reservoir, as you will find here. Okay, as I have shown you here, dam refers to this reservoir here. So this is the reservoir area. So this is in this reservoir, water is stored. Impoundment, water is stored. And most dams have a section called a spillway or wire, over which or through which it is intended that water will flow either intermittently or continuously. So the flowing of water through the dam is regulated, okay, as given here. So dam, the barrier obstructs, means block the water, direct the flow water or retard the flow water. That is as given here. Uh, this section, spillway or wire, okay, controls the flow water, regulates the flow water. Just spillway. So this is Hirakud Dam, okay, this is Hirakud Dam, and just see here this section, okay. So this section is known as the spillway, and when the dam water is okay beyond the critical level, that is above the critical level, then we have to open the gates, floodgates, and the water will be flowing down here. So in this way, water is regulated, the flowing water is regulated by the spillways, or also known as wire, okay. And here we have some more photographs of this spillway. Just see here, this photograph shows a spillway of a big dam, okay. I think you are seeing water flowing down. And we have one more photograph. So this is the spillway of Khuga Dam, okay. This is the spillway, this area is the spillway of Khuga Dam. And the dams are classified, okay, dams are classified according to structure, intended purpose, or height. So dams can be classified in different ways based on the structure, means based on the building materials, and based on the purposes, or based on the height. So based on the structure and the material used, dams are classified as timber dams if the dam is made of wood, then embankment dams or masonry dams, okay, if dams are made of stone and mud, masonry dams with several subtypes. And according to height, dams can be categorized as large dams and major dams, or alternatively low dams, medium height dams, high dams, like that. So based on the height, we can classify dams as low dams, medium dams, okay, medium height dams, or these high dams. So in this way, dams are classified. So any question, boys and girls, regarding dams? Any confusion about dams? Actually, dams refers to the barrier, refers to the wall, okay, that blocks the flow water, thus making a big reservoir. But for the common people, we merely refer to the reservoir, not to the wall. Okay, now if you don't have questions, now let us discuss about the advantages and the disadvantages of these dams, also known as multi-purpose river projects. About the meaning and the types we have known, okay, what are dams and how do they help us in conserving and managing water. So what are dams we have known, and now let us discuss how do dams conserve and manage water. Let us read. Dams were traditionally built to impound rivers and the rainwater that could be used later to irrigate agricultural fields. Okay, so dams were traditionally built to impound rivers. Just that making of reservoir, okay, that this making of reservoir to impound water and the rainwater that could be used later to irrigate the agricultural fields. And today, dams are built not just for irrigation purposes, but also for electricity generation, water supply for domestic and industrial users, flood control, recreation, inland navigation, and fish breeding. That means we have different usefulness of dams, okay, not only providing water for irrigation. Dams are also used for generating hydroelectricity. Dams are used to supply water for domestic and industrial users. Dams are used to control flood in the low-lying areas. As a recreation also, see, dams provide a scenic beauty and hence give recreation, okay, to the people. It becomes a tourist spot for the people. Then big dams are used as a inland navigation, okay, for the transportation process also it is used. And the dams are also used for fish breeding, okay, producing new varieties of fish. And hence dams are now referred to as the multi-purpose projects because of usefulness, okay, because of different advantages in the usefulness of the dams. Dams are now referred to as multi-purpose projects, where the many uses of impounded water are integrated with one another. Okay, for example, in the Saluz Bias River basin, okay, the Bhakra Nangal project water is being used both for hydel power production and irrigation. So in this way, dams are used for different purposes. Bhakra Nangal project is used for generating hydel power as well as for irrigation purposes. Similarly, Hirakud project in the Mahanadi Basin integrates conservation of water with the flood control. Okay, so these are the usefulness of dams, and in our book you'll find a map, okay, showing these major rivers and dam. And so this map is very important for the exams, okay. Now let us look at Bakranangal, okay. Bakranangal here, I think a big dot is here. So this is the location of Bakranangal. And here we have that Hirakud, okay, Hirakud Dam is here. Hirakud Dam is constructed on Mahanadi River. So in this way, different major dams are located here. See, Salal project in Jammu and Kashmir. Salal project on Chenab River is here. Okay, then Tehri River is here. Tehri River on the Ganga River. Tehri Dam, okay. Tehri Dam on actually these are the two head streams of Ganga, the Alaknanda and the Bhagirathi, and the Tehri Dam is constructed here. Then so many dams are located here. So Rihan Dam is constructed on Son River, okay. Then Maithon, and then Pansnet, Konar, Tilaya, okay. Other dams also here on this river. And see Rana Pratap Sagar, okay. See just all these big dots, okay. So these are the location of the multi-purpose river projects. Gandhi Sagar is here, Rana Pratap Sagar is here, okay. Quata Berries is here, built on Chambal River. Just see, okay. And Sada Sarovar Dam is here, constructed on the Narmada River. Then Prabhara on Godavari. Then Nagarjuna Sagar project on river Krishna. Tungabhadra on Tungabhadra River, Koina on Krishna River, okay. And see here, Perrier, then Meteor, so you may read it, okay. So this map is very important for the board exams. So up to here, any question, boys and girls? We have learned the usefulness, the merits, or the advantages of dams, okay. But now we shall also discuss about the demerits, okay, as well as controversies related with these multi-purpose river valley projects. Multi-purpose project launched after the independence with their integrated water resource management approach were thought of as the vehicle that would lead the nation to development and progress. We thought that multi-purpose projects, okay, would be the vehicle that would lead our country to development and progress, overcoming the hardships of the colonial past. and that is why Jawaharlal Nehru proudly proclaimed the dams as the temples of modern India. Jawaharlal Nehru proclaimed dams as the temples of modern India. The reasons being that it would integrate, okay, development of agriculture and the village economy with rapid industrialization and the growth of the urban economy. So Jawaharlal Nehru thought that these large dams will lead to the economic development of our country. Okay, it will lead to the development of agriculture in India. It will lead to the development of economy of the villages with the rapid industrialization and the growth of economy in the urban areas. So because of the usefulness of the dams, Jawaharlal Nehru announced, proclaimed these dams as the temples of modern India. Okay. Then after that you will find one this folk song. Okay, here, and so this is a popular Bhadu song in Damodar Valley region, narrating the troubles faced by the people owing to flooding of Damodar River, known as the River of Sorrow. Damodar River was once known as the River of Sorrow, okay, in this West Bengal area, and but now because of this DVAC, okay, because of the multi-purpose river projects, the problem has been solved. Okay, the flooding by Damodar River has been solved. But see, in recent years, multi-purpose projects and large dams have come under great scrutiny and opposition for a variety of reasons. We have already learned about the merits, okay, of large dams, multi-purpose river projects. But recently, okay, so these multi-purpose projects and large dams have come under great scrutiny and opposition from variety of reasons, because of many reasons. Okay, so many people are opposing against the construction of multi-purpose projects. See, the reasons are given below. Regulating and damming of rivers affect the natural flow, causing poor sediment flow and excessive sedimentation at the bottom of reservoir, resulting in rockier stream beds. See, dams are constructed to regulate the flow of river. Okay, just see here. Because of this barrier, of course, we have the spillway here, but spillway is open when the dam is flooded. Okay, when there is excess water in the dam, then at a time we open this spillway, the floodgate. But see, because of this wall, the smooth flowing down of river is obstructed here, and because of that, here all the sediments, all the rock fragments, sand pebbles carried down by the rivers will be collected here, will be deposited here, will be deposited on the bed of the river, and hence the bed of the river becomes rockier. Okay, becomes a rockier surface, and that affects the this flora and the fauna, aquatic flora and the fauna. See, if the stream bed has lot of these rock fragments, then the food for the these fishes, okay, will be less. That affects the aquatic ecosystem, okay, because of the rockier surface, rockier stream bed, and poorer habitats for the river's aquatic life. Okay, you know, fish also require food, and if the surface is covered, if the bed is covered only with rocks, then there will be shortage of food for the fishes. So this is one of the demerits of constructing big dams. Another demerit is that dams also fragment rivers, making it difficult to aquatic fauna to migrate, especially for spawning. Okay, just see here, because of the barrier. So here the river, the course of the river is here. Some of the fishes, okay, may be moving upstream, okay, upstream, and some of the fishes may be moving down. Okay, they may be migrating, seasonal migration may be there, and for spawning. And if we have constructed this barrier here, then the movement of the fish, the seasonal migration of the fish will be checked, and hence the spawning of the fish may not be there. So this is another demerit. Okay, and reservoirs that were created on the floodplains also submerge the existing vegetation and the soil, leading to its decomposition over a period of time. If reservoirs are constructed on the low-lying areas, say for example, here this is a hill mountain, this is another one, because of the this barrier, okay, say the river will submerge all the areas here. Here once it may be covered with forest, okay, with plants and a forest, and because of the reservoir, all these flora, okay, the trees and the grasses will be submerged underwater, and because of that it will be decomposed over a period of time. So these are the different demerits of these multi-purpose river projects. And because of these demerits, okay, multi-purpose projects and large dams have also been the cause of many new environmental movements like Narmada Bachao Andolan, then Tehri Dam Andolan. So because of these demerits of the large dams, so environmental movements have been there in India, like for example, Narmada Bachao Andolan, then Tehri Dam Andolan. So resistance to these projects has primarily been due to the large-scale displacement of local communities. So why there has been a large-scale movement from the communities? Because of the construction of large-scale projects, okay, large-scale displacement of local communities has been there. Say, for example, here in this case, there, say for example, there was a village here. There was a village here in this area, and due to construction of this dam, all the villagers from this area has to be okay, evacuated, has to be shifted to the other place. This is what I call large-scale displacement of local communities, and that is a problem. Okay, and local people often had to give up their land, livelihood, and their meager access and control over the resources for greater good of the nation. So they have to sacrifice for the betterment of the nation. And so if the local people are not benefiting from such projects, then who is benefited? Actually, in the real sense, the local people are not benefited. Their homes are displaced, and the government has also not been looking after properly. And still it is saying that the dams are benefiting so many people. Then who is benefiting here? Perhaps the landowners, the landlords, large farmers, industrialists, and the urban people. Okay, to them it may be benefited, but for the local people, okay, this creates a problem. Construction of dams creates a problem. So we have some examples of the movement, people's movement here. Okay, Narmada Bachao Andolan, or Save Narmada Movement, is a non-governmental organization that mobilized tribal people, farmers, environmentalists, and human rights activists against the Sardar Sarovar Dam being built across the Narmada River in Gujarat. Okay, we have known the location. And it originally focused, this Narmada Bachao Andolan originally focused on the environmental issues related to trees that would be submerged under the dam. We have known that due to the construction of dams, forests will be submerged underwater. And why have been the people moving, okay, against the this Sardar Sarovar project? Because large scale destruction of forests will be there. And recently it has refocused and aimed to enable poor citizens, especially the outstees, that is the displaced people, to get full rehabilitation facilities from the government. again from the government side, okay, refocusing has been done, and they aim at to provide more facilities to the poor citizen, especially those displaced people, and to get full rehabilitation facilities from the government side. And after that, okay, the construction has been going on. So that is about Narmada Bachao Andolan. Okay, and about the Sadar Sarovar, actually, we have also discussed. So this is the dam built over the Narmada River in Gujarat, and this is one of the largest water resource projects of India, covering four states: Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Rajasthan. So just let us look at the map here. Sadar Sarovar, okay. Sadar Sarovar is here, built on the Narmada River. So this is Narmada River. So this project covers four states: Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Rajasthan. And this Sadar Sarovar project would meet the requirement of water in the drought-prone desert areas of Gujarat, 9,490 villages and the 173 towns, and Rajasthan, 124 villages. So after the construction of this Sadar Sarovar Dam, okay, it will be benefited 9,490 villages in Gujarat, 173 towns in Gujarat, okay, and 124 villages in Rajasthan. So this is about Sadar Sarovar project. And we know that if water is provided, if irrigation is provided, okay, it can change the cropping pattern. Say an area may be practicing single cropping, for example. This is an agricultural field, and after providing irrigation, okay, after providing enough water, so this agricultural field can practice double cropping, multiple cropping. So in this way, the cropping pattern can be changed, and the type of crops grown also can be changed uh, from the dry crops to water intensive commercial crops. Okay, and because of this, because of the irrigation, okay, because of the irrigation works, excessive irrigation works, there may be ecological consequences like salinization of the soil. See, when we practice excessive irrigation, for example, this is the canal system, okay, this is the canal system, and here we have agriculture field, and a canal is here, and see here, most of the canals in India are not lined, and because of that, this canal water will be infiltrated, and okay, and will rise here due to capillary action, and on its way, this water will dissolve salts, okay, that is present in the subsoil, and will rise upwards. And when there is evaporation due to the bright sunshine, so the crystals of salt will remain on the surface, and thus leaving the soil saline. So in this way, because of the excessive irrigation, salinity may be there, okay, then at the same time it has transformed the social landscape. Large dams or this excessive irrigation or irrigation provision of irrigation has transformed the social landscape, that is increasing the social gap between the richer landowners and the poor people. That means the rich people become richer and richer, and the poor people become poorer and poorer. And as we can see, the dams did create conflicts between people wanting different uses and benefit from the same water resources. That means dams, okay, sometimes give us conflict between the people who want the water, who want the benefit, and uh, and those who do not get it from the same water resources. So, for example, in Gujarat, the Sabarmati Basin farmers were agitated and almost cause riot over the higher priority given to water supply in the urban areas, particularly during the droughts. So in this way, because of the dams, there may be conflict between the two groups of people, those getting higher facility, between the people getting more facility, and the group of people getting less facility. And one more problem is that interstate water disputes are also becoming common with regard to sharing of costs and the benefits of multipurpose project. Sometimes there will be dispute, okay, between the two states regarding dams. For example, see Krishna Godavari dispute is an example, is due to the objections raised by the Karnataka and the Andhra Pradesh. So there is a conflict between the Andhra Pradesh and the Karnataka because of this large scale project. See, in this, it is regarding the diversion of more water at Koyna by Maharashtra government for a multipurpose project. Okay, by constructing a multipurpose project at Koyna, Maharashtra government is using more water, okay, thus leaving less quantity of water for Karnataka. So in this way, there is a dispute between the two states. So these are some of the examples, okay, of these disputes caused by the construction of dams. And see, so this is the map that we have already done. Now let us analyze okay, whether we should construct dam or not. Just tell me whether we should construct dams or not. Should we construct dam or not? Okay, let us continue. Most of the objections to the project across arose due to their failure to achieve the purposes for which they were built. Actually, see, objections from the communities, objections from the environmentalists are coming when the dams, okay, have failed to fulfill their objectives. Okay, sometimes see dams have been constructed to control the flood, but instead of controlling the flood, dams sometimes trigger floods due to sedimentation in the reservoir, due to sedimentation on the bed of the river. Okay, instead of controlling the flood, sometimes dams are creating floods. Okay, moreover, the big dams have mostly been unsuccessful in controlling floods at the time of excessive rainfall. Generally, what they are doing is that when there is excessive rainfall, the excess water will be released and thus causing more flood in the low-lying areas. Okay, just one example is also here. During the heavy rains, okay, see, because of release of water, the situation of flood has been aggravated in Maharashtra and Gujarat in 2006. And sedimentation also meant that the floodplains were deprived of silt. Actually, sometimes usefulness of flood also there, but not all. So when there is flood, the flood water brings silt. Okay, and that will increase, that will enrich the fertility of the soil. But when this natural process is controlled by the dam, then the fertility of the soil or the natural enrichment of the soil also may be less. But see, in most of the cases, we find that flood destroys the lane, okay, more than the enrichment of the soil. You must know that. And one of the major problem is that okay, multipurpose project induce earthquakes, cause waterborne disease, and pest and pollution. So sometimes dams, instead of providing water irrigation facilities, then other usefulness to us, sometimes dams, big dams, induce earthquakes because of the pressure given by the water. So there may be earthquakes nearby the area because of the impounded water. Okay, there may be waterborne diseases, and there may be pests, there may be pollution. Okay, so these are the controversies or demerit because of construction of the dams. But on the whole, so we have to analyze, okay, the merits and the demerits. And most of the time we find that dams provide more usefulness okay, than the disadvantages, than the demerits. And that is why we should construct dams, okay, for the development of the country. So any question, boys and girls?